I woke up from a 6-month coma and everyone called me Lauren. Lauren was my twin sister. And when I finally proved I was Natalie, I discovered something devastating. Lauren had stolen everything from me while I was unconscious. But what she didn't know is that I had, well, before I tell you what I did, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the incredible stories we tell here. Now let me tell you what happened. I opened my eyes to a bedroom I didn't recognize. Not the hospital. I remembered that much. The beeping machines, the fluorescent lights. This was different. Soft morning light through cream curtains. Framed photographs on the dresser. My body wouldn't cooperate when I tried to sit up. 6 months in a coma had left me weak, muscles atrophied. The neurologist had warned me about this during those first confusing weeks after I'd surfaced. Except he hadn't called me by my name. He'd called me Lauren. Lauren was my twin sister. When I'd tried to correct him, my damaged brain couldn't make my mouth form the words. They'd patted my hand and said aphasia was common after aneurysms. But I wasn't confused. I knew exactly who I was. The problem was that no one else seemed to. 3 months after waking, I was apparently at home. But this wasn't my home. I studied the photographs. A woman who looked exactly like me, smiled from every frame. Lauren with a tall, silver-haired man. Lauren with 3 children, a teenage boy, 2 girls. Lauren at someone's graduation, thin and pale but smiling. That last photo made something twist in my chest. She looked sick. The door opened and the teenage boy walked in with breakfast. "Mom," he said. The word hit me like a slap. "I brought you breakfast. Dad said you need to eat before therapy." I reached for my notebook, hands shaking as I wrote, "I am Natalie, not Lauren Quinn." I'd learned his name, read it with pity and frustration. "Mom, the stroke affected your memory. I'm Quinn, you're Lauren. You're my mom." After he left, I lay there staring at the ceiling. This had been my reality for 3 months. I'd woken up with a name that wasn't mine, in a life that belonged to my sister. The physical therapist arrived at 10. Marissa helped me into the wheelchair. I still couldn't walk, and we did the exercises teaching my body to function again. Exhausting. Every small victory felt like climbing a mountain. After therapy, Elliot came in, Lauren's husband. A kind man, patient in a way that broke my heart because I could see how much he loved her. "I thought we could go for a walk," he said. "Fresh air might help." He meant it might help my confusion. I nodded anyway, desperate to leave this house that felt like a beautiful prison. We went 3 blocks and my heart started pounding. I knew these streets. We were in Brooklyn Heights, my neighborhood. I grabbed Elliot's arm and pointed to a brownstone. My brownstone. The one I'd bought in 2019 for $2.1 million. There was a sold sign in the yard. Different families' furniture visible through the windows. "That was Natalie's house," Elliot said quietly. "Your sister's. She sold it last summer, before the aneurysm." I'd never sold my house. Never. That night, I found Elliot's iPad. Searched my own name. Natalie Ashford. The results made my blood run cold. Tech entrepreneur remains in coma after 6 months. Articles said I was still at St. Luke's Hospital. But I wasn't. I was here, awake. I scrolled further and found an obituary. Lauren Marie Ashford Kane, 47, passed away September 10th, 2023, in tragic car accident on I-95. September. 3 months after my aneurysm, Lauren had died while I was in a coma. And somehow our identities had been switched. They thought I was her. Then I saw it, a file folder on Elliot's desk. Natalie, Power of Attorney, 2019. The one I'd signed 4 years ago when Lauren and I were trying to rebuild our relationship. She'd had legal access to everything. My accounts, my property, my life. And now she was dead. And I was living in her house, with her family, my entire existence erased. I opened the folder with trembling hands. Inside were documents, bank transfers, property sales, corporate filings, all dated between June and September of last year, all signed with my name, except I'd been in a coma. Lauren had used the power of attorney, had sold my house, transferred my money, taken my company shares, while I was unconscious and helpless, the total value, over $4 million. Everything I'd built, everything I owned, gone. But why? Lauren and I had been estranged for decades. But this was beyond revenge. This was erasure. I sat there in the dark. Documents spread around me and felt my reality shatter. My sister had stolen my entire life, then died, leaving me trapped in hers, with no identity, no money, no way to prove what had happened. I didn't know it yet, but those documents would explain everything, would reveal a secret 23 years old, would show me that Lauren hadn't just stolen from me. She'd taken back what I'd stolen from her first. And when I finally understood, I'd have to choose: destroy her children to get my life back, or let her win from beyond the grave. But that night, all I knew was that my twin sister had betrayed me in the cruelest way possible, and I was going to find out why. 1 month later, I could finally speak clearly. Words came slowly sometimes, but I could communicate, which meant I could demand the truth. I found Elliot in the kitchen. I need to see that power of attorney document. Now. He went very still. When he turned around, his face was drawn, exhausted. "You're not Lauren," he said. Not a question. "You're Natalie, aren't you?" I couldn't speak for a moment. After 4 months of insisting, he believed me. "How long have you known?" 2 weeks, he said, sinking into a chair. "You mentioned things, specific things Lauren wouldn't know. Little things that seemed like confusion, until there were too many." He retrieved a file box, set it on the table. "I need you to understand something first. Lauren was dying. Pancreatic cancer. Stage 4. Diagnosed June 12th, 2023. 2 days after your aneurysm. The doctors gave her 3 to 6 months." He opened the box. Documents spilled out. Bank statements. Property transfers. Legal filings. "She told me you'd authorized everything, that you'd discussed it before the aneurysm, that you wanted her to handle your affairs if something happened." I believed her. He met my eyes. "No, that's a lie." I wanted to believe her, because she was dying and had 3 kids to provide for and 3 months to live. He spread the documents. "Your house. She sold it for $2.1 million in August. Your bank accounts. $850,000 transferred to a trust for the kids. Your company. Ashford Tech. She called your partner Marcus, pretending to be you. Sent emails from your account saying you needed to step back. Then signed documents transferring your 40% stake to a trust." He pushed papers toward me. "Total value. About $4.2 million. Everything you owned." I wanted to scream, to rage, but I was so tired. "What did I do to her?" I asked. "You said she was dying, but this feels personal." Elliot hesitated. 23 years ago. You stole her company, the first one, the startup you built together. When investors came, you registered it in only your name. Cut her out completely. I remembered. The way Lauren had screamed at me. How our parents had sided with me. How we hadn't spoken for 5 years after. And Adrian. Elliot continued quietly. He was her fiancé first. You took him 1 week before the wedding. 1 week. She had the dress, the venue, everything. You showed up at the rehearsal dinner, got drunk, seduced him. He called off the wedding the next day. No, I hadn't known it was that close. I felt sick. She had a breakdown. Ended up in the hospital. That's where she met me. Elliot pulled out a letter. Sealed envelope with my name. She left this. Made me promise to give it to you if you woke up. Inside was a letter and a photograph. Lauren, bald from chemo, holding an ultrasound image. I read the letter, hands shaking. Natalie, I took everything from you, but there's something you don't know. Look at the ultrasound. That was taken in 2001, 3 weeks before you stole Adrian. I was pregnant with his baby. I lost it 2 weeks after the wedding that never happened. Doctors said stress. I knew it was a broken heart. You killed my child. So yes, I stole your life. Because you stole mine first. We're even now. Ulu. The letter slipped from my hands. Pregnant. She was pregnant. I didn't know. There's one more thing, Elliot said softly. Quinn, our oldest. He's not mine biologically. Lauren had an affair in 2007. One night, with Adrian. Quinn is his son. Adrian, my husband. Does Adrian know? Lauren told him last year when she got diagnosed, and he helped her. Natalie. with everything. The fraud, the transfers, the forgeries. He knew exactly what she was doing. My husband had helped my sister steal my life. I looked at the documents, evidence of Lauren's methodical erasure of my existence, the letter confessing pregnancy loss I'd unknowingly caused, the revelation that my husband had been complicit. "Where is he?" I asked hollowly. "Where's Adrian?" "Upper West Side. Your old apartment." Elliot pushed a piece of paper toward me, an address I knew by heart. "He's still there." I went to see Adrian the next week. He opened the door like he'd been waiting. Looked older, grayer. The apartment was half empty. Boxes everywhere. "London?" he said, seeing my gaze. "I'm moving next month. Fresh start." "Running away," I corrected. He didn't deny it. "She told me," I said. "About the pregnancy, about Quinn." His face crumpled. "I didn't know until last year. Lauren told me when she got diagnosed. Said she wanted me to know I had a son before she died." "You helped her," I said. "Knew she was stealing everything while I was in a coma. And you did it anyway." "Yes." No hesitation. She was dying. Natalie. Had 3 months and 3 kids. She came to me broken and desperate and asked, "Do you think she deserves this, after what she did?" And I said yes. He sat on a covered sofa. "I loved you, but Lauren was always there. The road not taken. When she came to me dying, asking for justice, how could I say no? I'd been trying to reach her," I said. "For months before the aneurysm. 7 emails. She never responded." Something flickered across his face. "I didn't know that. I'd made a will, 1 week before the aneurysm. Left 60% of everything to Lauren and her kids. I was trying to make amends. She never knew because she never read the emails. Adrian was quiet. Then, she died not knowing you were trying to fix it, and you woke up not knowing she'd destroyed you. 2 sisters, both trying to make things right, both failing." He handed me divorce papers. "I already had these drawn up. I'm not contesting anything. Take whatever's left." I signed them without a word and left. My husband, my sister, my old life, all gone. That night, I met with my old therapist, Dr. Reeves. She pulled my files. "You were making progress. March 2023. You expressed deep regret about Lauren. You'd drafted a will. We're considering reaching out. You said you wanted to be someone your sister could forgive." I remembered those sessions, the slow work of admitting what I'd done. I sent her 7 emails trying to apologize. She never responded. So I made the will anyway. Even if she wouldn't forgive me, I could give her security. And she never read them. Dr. Reeves said gently, "I never knew you were trying." "She took everything I was planning to give her," I said. "Took it by force instead of as a gift. What are you going to do now?" That was the question. I had evidence of fraud. Could sue Lauren's estate. Try to recover everything. But that meant dragging 3 orphaned kids through court. Quinn, who didn't know his real father. Ivy, 14 and grieving. Isla, 9 and still crying for her mother. Did they deserve to be punished for their mother's actions? I didn't know. But as I left Dr. Reeves' office, I realized Lauren had won. Even dead, she'd won. Because she'd forced me to choose between revenge and humanity. And for the first time in my life, I wasn't sure which one I wanted more. 2 months later, I sat in Catherine Wu's Manhattan office, top litigation attorney in New York. She'd reviewed my case. "You have an extraordinarily strong case," she said. "Identity theft, wire fraud, falsification. Even with the power of attorney, your sister exceeded her authority. We can reverse almost everything." She slid documents across her desk. "Success probability, 87%. We can get back approximately $3.8 million plus punitive damages. You could walk away with close to $5 million. I stared at the numbers. My life, given back. Timeline, 2 to 3 years. Discovery, depositions, trial. The defendants would be Lauren's estate. Her children. They'd have to testify. Be cross-examined. Media attention would be significant. She leaned back. Cost? My retainer is $500,000. Total legal fees will run $2.5 to $3 million. You'd need litigation funding. Still profitable, but expensive. She met my eyes. "Natalie, you were victimized. You have every right to seek restitution, but those kids will be dragged through hell. Quinn will be 20 by the time this ends. Old enough to hate his mother for what she did. Ivy will spend her teenage years testifying. Isla will grow up with this hanging over her. Justice isn't clean. It destroys everyone it touches. I thanked her and left. Spent the next week thinking of nothing else. 3.8 million. My company back. Everything Lauren stole, returned. All I had to do was sue 3 kids who'd just lost their mother. But then Quinn asked me to help with college essays. Isla fell asleep on my shoulder during a movie. Ivy showed me her art portfolio. Hesitant, but hopeful. And I couldn't stop thinking. Justice destroys everyone it touches. I went back to Elliot, showed him Catherine Wu's analysis, watched his face go pale, reading about what it would cost his children. I could win, I said. Get almost everything back. But it would destroy Quinn, Ivy, and Isla. Elliot pulled out another file. There's something you need to see. Lauren created a secondary trust, dated September 5th, 2023, 5 days before she died. He showed me the document. Restitution Trust for Natalie Marie Ashford. I read it 3 times. If Lauren died, and if I woke up, and if I didn't sue within 1 year, then $800,000 would transfer to my name. She left you money, Elliot said. 30% of what she took, with a condition that you don't sue, that you let the kids keep their trust. She forced you to choose. Revenge or family, everything or something. I stared at the document. My dead sister's final manipulation. She was a bitch, I said. Even dying, she couldn't resist one last twist. Yes, Elliot agreed. But she was also a terrified mother. A woman you'd destroyed who spent 20 years rebuilding. A cancer patient in so much pain she could barely think. She was complicated, like you. He took the document back. The deadline is December 24th, 1 year from when you regained capacity to make legal decisions. You have 2 weeks. 2 weeks to choose between 3.8 million won through destroying 3 kids, or $800,000 given with your sister's blessing. I spent those weeks watching the kids. Quinn applying to Stanford, brilliant and driven. Ivy painting watercolors of memories, in therapy for grief. Isla setting a place for Lauren at dinner, crying when Elliot gently removed it. These kids had lost everything, and I was considering taking their financial security too, because legally, morally, I was the victim. But was I? Really? On December 20th, I went to Lauren's grave for the first time. Oakwood Cemetery in Queens. Simple headstone. Lauren Marie Ashford Kane. 1976-2023. Beloved mother. I knelt in the cold grass. I was going to give it back, I told her. All of it. I made a will. But you never read the emails. Never gave me the chance. My voice broke. But you were right not to. I destroyed you. And pretending I'd fix it with a will. That's coward's redemption. I should have shown up. Gotten on my knees. Begged forgiveness. But I didn't. I took the easy path. Again, I pulled out the trust document. I'm not going to sue. Not because you deserve forgiveness. You don't. What you did was cruel. But Quinn, Ivy, and Isla don't deserve to pay for our war. I've spent 23 years winning at any cost. I'm tired. Maybe the only way to break the cycle is to just stop. I stood. You won, Lauren. You took everything and you won. And I'm letting you keep the victory. Not because you earned it, but because I'm done destroying people. I'm just done. On December 24th, Christmas Eve, I signed documents confirming I wouldn't pursue legal action. The $800,000 transferred that afternoon. Blood money, compensation. A final gift from a sister who'd hated me. That evening, I went to Christmas Eve dinner with the kids. During dinner, Isla asked, Aunt Natalie, why did you and Mom stop talking? The table went silent. I could have lied, but these kids deserve truth. Because we hurt each other, I said, a long time ago. I did something terrible to her. She couldn't forgive me. We spent 20 years not talking because we were too proud and too angry. Then she got sick. I was in a coma, and we ran out of time. Isla's eyes filled with tears. That's stupid. You should have just said sorry. Mom is dead, Ivy snapped. She can't say sorry. Isla started crying. I pulled her into a hug. I miss her, she sobbed. Me too, honey, I whispered. And it was true. I missed the sister I'd had before I destroyed her. Quinn spoke up. Mom left letters for us. I read mine last week. There's a part for you. He slid an envelope to me. I read the section marked for Natalie. Lauren's handwriting, shaky but clear. By now you know what I did. You probably hate me. But I need you to know. I didn't do it just for revenge. I did it because I was dying and desperate. Because you gave me the power and I couldn't resist the justice of it. I was going to fix it. After the surgery. If I survived. Reverse everything. Call you. Say I'm sorry. Start over. But I didn't survive. And now you're reading this, and I'm gone, and we'll never get that reconciliation. So I'm saying it now. I'm sorry. For not reading your emails. For taking your life. For never giving you the chance to apologize. For being too proud for too long. Take care of my kids. Please. Love them better than we loved each other. Break the cycle I couldn't break. Lauren. I folded the letter carefully. Looked at 3 kids watching me with Lauren's eyes. I'll stay, I said. And meant it. 6 months later. June 2024. 1 year after the aneurysm. I'd moved to my own apartment in Park Slope, close to the kids but giving everyone space. Used part of Lauren's $800,000 to pay medical bills, $200,000 for 6 months in a coma, and invested the rest in backing 3 women founders in AI ethics. Turned out I was good at mentoring instead of steamrolling. Dr. Reeves called it growth. I called it penance. Maybe both. Quinn had gone to Stanford, video called weekly, seemed to be thriving. Ivy started an art program at Pratt. Isla was sleeping through the night again, laughing again. Small victories. I went to Isla's piano recital in May. She played Claire de Lune beautifully. When she finished, she looked for Lauren. Moment of sadness. Then saw me and smiled. After, she ran up and hugged me. Did you like it? You were perfect, I told her. We got ice cream, a strange little family, broken and reassembled, not what any of us planned, but real. Mom would have liked this, Isla said. She always said celebrate small things. Elliot's expression went soft and sad. She did say that, even at the end. Ivy asked the question she'd been avoiding for months. Aunt Natalie, do you hate Mom? For what she did. I considered lying, but these kids deserve truth. Sometimes, I admitted, sometimes I'm so angry I can't breathe. She stole my life while I was helpless, but I also understand why. I destroyed her first, 23 years before she came after me. I can hate what she did and still understand why. Ivy pushed ice cream around her bowl. She used to cry at night. Say your name. I'm sorry, Natalie. I didn't understand. One time she told me she'd had a sister she loved more than anything. Then they hurt each other so bad they couldn't find their way back. That was you, wasn't it? Yeah, I said. That was me. 2 sisters. 23 years of silence. Both trying to say sorry at the end. Both failing. That night, I went through Lauren's documents again. At the bottom was a file I'd missed. Natalie Last Will Sep 2023. PDF. Dated September 5th. 5 days before she died. I opened it. Upon my death, all assets taken from Natalie Marie Ashford are to be returned in full, minus $2.8 million held in trust for my children. This includes the Brownstone proceeds, 2.1 mets, bank transfers, $850K, and Ashford Tech shares, 1.6 mets. Total restitution, approximately $3.8 million. I acknowledge these assets were taken without full consent. While I maintain my sister's actions caused me irreparable harm, I recognize retaliation while she was comatose was morally wrong. If I survive the surgery, I intend to restore these assets personally and seek reconciliation. If I don't survive, this serves as my confession and apology. Natalie, I was going to give it all back. I swear. But I ran out of time. I'm sorry. Please take care of my babies. Lauren. I read it 3 times. Lauren had planned to give it back. Had made a new will. Had been 3 days from surgery. 8 days from death. And she'd chosen to make it right. But then she'd died. And I'd woken up believing she'd destroyed me without remorse. We'd both tried. At the very end, we'd both tried. And we'd both failed because of timing. because 23 years of silence was too wide to bridge. The divorce from Adrian finalized in July. He signed everything over. "I don't want anything that reminds me of her," he'd written, "or of what I did. I'm starting over in London. I sold the apartment, put the money toward the kids, trust anonymously. They'd need it for college, for futures not haunted by their mother's choices. I visited Marcus at Ashford Tech once. He offered me a role, VP, minority stake. We miss you. We need you back." I almost said yes, almost stepped back into my old life. But then I thought about Lauren, bitter because I'd cut her out. "I can't," I told Marcus. "That version of me doesn't exist anymore. She died in the coma. I'm trying to figure out who I am now. Someone who doesn't need to win. Someone who can just exist." Marcus hugged me. "I think Lauren would be proud of who you're becoming. Maybe. I'd never know." December 2024, Christmas Eve again. Elliot invited me to dinner. I brought gifts for the kids. We ate, played games. Isla taught me a TikTok dance. Normal family things. Except we were survivors of a war. Collateral damage building something good from rubble. After the kids went to bed, Elliot poured wine. "I found something," he said. He handed me Lauren's diary. Worn, water-stained. From her last year. She marked a page for you. I opened to September 7th, 2023, 3 days before she died. Lauren's handwriting, barely legible toward the end. "The pain is unbearable. Surgery. Monday is my last shot. 20% chance. Probably going to die. I'm terrified. Not of dying with things unsaid. I read Natalie's emails today. Finally. All 7. She was trying to apologize. For years. Made a will leaving me 60%. And I destroyed her while she was unconscious. Adrian asked if I regret it. I can't answer. Part of me says she deserved it. Says it's justice. But the part that's still her sister cries every night. I made a new will today, reversing everything. If I survive, I'm giving it all back. Calling her. Starting over. If I die, what legacy am I leaving? That I was just as cruel as her. I don't want that. I wanted to be better. If there's a next life, I hope we get it right. Hope we're sisters again. The real kind. But in this life, we're both just broken. Maybe some things stay broken. Maybe that's okay. The last line. I love you, Natalie. Always loved you. Even when I hated you. I closed the diary. Set it down. Elliot refilled my wine. Outside, snow started falling. She was going to forgive me, I said. And I was going to give her everything. We were both trying. And we missed each other by days. Is that really the end, though? Elliot asked. You're here with her kids. You chose family over revenge. That's something. Maybe not the ending you wanted, but it's an ending. I thought about that. About the year spent rebuilding. Not my career or wealth, but my humanity. Learning to be someone who could feel joy instead of resentment. Learning to choose connection over winning. I woke up from a coma and lost everything, I said. My name, my money, my marriage, my identity. My sister stole my life and died before I could confront her, before we could fix what we broke. I watched the snow fall, but I also woke up from something worse. A life where I won by destroying everyone. Where my own sister was collateral damage. Lauren took everything from me and gave me something I never had. A reason to become someone worth forgiving. I stayed up after Elliot went to bed, looking at Lauren's diary, at the journal of a woman destroyed who chose to destroy back, who regretted it at the end but died before making it right. We were the same, Lauren and I. Both ruthless. Both willing to sacrifice everything for what we wanted. The only difference was timing. I'd destroyed her first. She'd destroyed me second. And we'd both realized too late that winning meant losing the only person who'd truly understood us. I opened my laptop and started writing. Not a legal brief. Just thoughts. A letter to the sister who'd never read it. Lauren, you won. I'm not even angry anymore. Mostly just sad. Sad we wasted 23 years. Sad we both tried to fix it and failed. Sad your kids will grow up without you. That I'll grow up without you. Because despite everything, you were my person. my twin, the only person who knew me before I became who I am now. I forgive you. For the fraud, the theft, for dying before we could reconcile. I forgive you because holding anger is exhausting, because your kids deserve an aunt who doesn't resent their mother, because I'm trying to be better than we were. I continued typing. I don't know if you forgive me. Your diary says maybe you did at the end, or maybe you were just tired. Either way, I'll take it. We're even now, or we're not. It doesn't matter anymore. What matters is, I'm here with Quinn, Ivy, and Isla, trying to be the family we never were, trying to break the cycle we couldn't break, trying to love them better than we loved each other. I hope that's enough. I hope wherever you are, you can see I'm trying, that I'm staying, that I chose them over revenge, that I chose family over justice, that I'm finally putting something ahead of winning. I miss you. I love you. I'm sorry, and I'm letting you go, because carrying you is too heavy, because the only way forward is to forgive us both, because some things stay broken and that has to be okay. Rest well, sister. We're done fighting now. Natalie, I saved the document. Didn't send it anywhere. There was nowhere to send it, but writing it felt like release, like final letting go. I looked in the mirror, saw Lauren's face staring back. We'd always been identical, but now I saw differences. Lines around my eyes from recovery, gray streak from stress, softness in my expression that hadn't been there before. I wasn't Lauren, wasn't the sister who died angry, but I wasn't the old Natalie either, wasn't the ruthless entrepreneur who destroyed everything in her path. I was something new, someone built from the ashes of both our lives, someone who'd lost everything and found that maybe losing was the only way to finally win. The next morning, Quinn video called before heading back to Stanford. Hey, Aunt Nat, just wanted to say thanks. For staying. For being here. Mom would hate that I like you. But I do. Ivy texted me her latest painting. A portrait of Lauren, smiling. For your apartment, so you remember her happy. Isla called asking if I'd come to her next recital. It's not for 2 months, but I want you to mark your calendar. Please. I'll be there. I promised. Always. I spent the day organizing my apartment. Small space, but mine. Photos of the kids on the mantle. Lauren's diary on the bookshelf. Not hidden. Not forgotten. Just there. Part of the story, but not the whole story. I made coffee and sat by the window, watching Brooklyn wake up, thinking about the year that had passed. The life I'd lost. The life I'd found. They weren't the same. Would never be the same. But maybe that was okay. Maybe some things had to break completely before they could be rebuilt into something better. My phone buzzed. Dr. Reeves, confirming our session for next week. I'd been going regularly, working through the grief and guilt and complicated love I felt for the sister who'd destroyed me. It was slow work, painful work, but necessary. How are you doing? She always asked. And now I had an answer. I'm okay, not healed, not over it, but okay. And some days, that's enough. I thought about everything I'd learned this year, about how revenge felt hollow when you got it, about how forgiveness wasn't a moment but a choice you made every day, about how family wasn't just blood, it was who you chose to show up for, even when it was hard. Lauren and I never got our reconciliation, never got the tearful hug and mutual forgiveness and fresh start. We just got silence, and scars, and the messy, imperfect aftermath of 2 decades of hurting each other. But in that mess, I'd found something. Not redemption. I didn't deserve that. Not peace. That was too simple. Just acceptance. Acceptance that we were both broken, both cruel, both capable of terrible things, and both, at the very end, trying to be better. Maybe that was all anyone could ask for. I finished my coffee and opened my laptop. Had emails to write, meetings to schedule, a life to build. Not the life I'd planned, not the life I'd lost, but a life, mine, imperfect and scarred and smaller than before, but real. And somehow, finally, enough. That night, I went to bed early, turned off the lights, lay in the dark thinking about Lauren, about Quinn and Ivy and Isla, about the strange, broken family we'd become, about the choices that had led us here. And for the first time in 23 years, really, truly, for the first time since I'd destroyed my sister and built my empire on her ashes, I felt something like peace. Not happiness, not closure, not the neat resolution stories we're supposed to have, just peace. The quiet acceptance that some wounds never fully heal, some betrayals never fully resolve. Some stories don't end with reconciliation. They end with two sisters who loved each other and destroyed each other and never found their way back. And somehow, impossibly, learning to live with that was enough. I closed my eyes and slept through the night. No nightmares, no guilt, just silence, just rest, just the beginning of whatever came next. So, did you enjoy the story? Then leave a comment below letting me know what you thought. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any stories. And look, there's another amazing video waiting for you on the screen. Click on it now. I'm already there waiting for you.